Hello all you flow warriors. Today I'll be teaching you some intermediate moves now that we've gotten to know our levy sticks a little bit better. And we've hopefully been practicing a little bit on keeping our bodies out of the way, which will help you so much in learning all these. Today I'll be teaching you the around the head move and along with the loop. So let's get started. First off, we're going to start off in our side to side swipe here. And then we're going to go into the over the head. And I like to start in the side to side swipe because you can do basically anything from right here. So this is a good place to live. Just kind of always go back to this and you can get anywhere from here. So when you're ready, you're going to move the levy stick behind you. You don't need to totally full on bring it all the way back here, but just kind of get it a little bit behind you and then bring it up in an arc. So kind of get used to that feeling, that arc feeling, because it's a little bit different than this just side to side, because it has kind of a circular feel to it. That arc. Now when you come up on the arc here, you're going to bring it up around here and make sure that you bring your hand high enough so that your stick, your cord, and your hand are high enough up that they clear at the top of your head. Because if you get it too low, then you're going to hit yourself with either your hand or your cord, and then your levy stick will wrap around behind you and hit you in the back of the head. Not a good thing, so don't do it. A good thing to think about while doing this is to try and get your forearm pretty much over your head. So if you can have your forearm kind of go over your head, then you know that your hand is definitely high enough, that your levy stick is far enough away, and that your cord is also high enough. So as you do this, try and get that. So, here. See how my forearm goes over my head like that? You can see I'm doing kind of a looping follow through here as it goes underneath my arm. That's simply to keep with the flow. And your stick will want to go somewhere simply because of inertia. It'll have that momentum. It's going to want to go. And then if you just stop it, then you stop your flow and you have to get back into it. So you want to restart. You want to keep your flow going. So as you do that, just kind of let it go underneath your arm. And that's really simple to do because you just let your flow stick go. Just kind of twist your hands like you do in this one where you move your fingers instead of the hand. So just keep it going. Make sure that you raise that elbow, because if you don't get that elbow raised high enough, then you're going to hit yourself. So that is the over the head. Now we're going to do it reverse. So we did that one clockwise. Now we're going to go, we did that one counterclockwise, we're going to do this one clockwise. And this one's a whole lot easier because you don't have to worry about getting it high enough because your hand will be behind you. So, see, that is the same follow through. I'm going to pick my elbow up and it's going to go underneath. See that? And you're just going like this. And every time that you do the around the head, no matter which direction you go, you're always going to make sure that you do it wide enough around you. You don't want to get in too tight your first few times, because if you get in too tight, then you're going to run into either your shoulder or an elbow. I've even run into the hair that I have back here, and it was just enough to knock my levy stick out of balance. So make sure you get nice and wide with either direction that you go. So just get used to that. Alright, the next move I'm going to show you here is called the loop. And again, you're going to start in your side to side motion here, just like this, where we always are. And then what you're going to do is you're going to flick your wrist around. Your hand will make a small little circle, but mainly it comes from the movement of the fingers. Because if you try to move your hand around with it, if I can show you this here, it will try to fling your levy stick behind you, which will throw you off. Unless, I mean, you want to go behind you, but for this move, you need to keep, less is more. You need to keep it nice and tight in the center. So basically what you're going to do is you're just going to flick your hand around, and what the levy stick is going to do, and this is what makes it difficult, is it's going to go up and around in front of your hand, and then it's going to come down behind your hand, here. So it's going to do kind of a flip like that. So you kind of have to make sure that your hand is not too far forward as it's coming up, but that it's far enough forward that it doesn't get hit on its way back. So that's kind of what makes this move difficult, is it's hard to get out of the way. So you need to kind of dodge a little bit while doing this move. So let's give it a go here. We're just going to flick it up and around. There we go. Let's try that one more time. Do it a few times, just keep going with it until you end up hitting yourself. So that is the loop that direction. And it is just a little pop with the wrist. It's not a big follow it around, it's just a little pop just to get it going there. And you can do this the other direction too. See. You see how my hand doesn't really move, it just kind of twists like that, and that's really all you need, and it'll fly around on its own. So let me get reset up back here. Yeah. And you can also go the other direction. You just simply rotate your hand the other direction. But when you go clockwise, then it will come up in front of your hand and then go underneath your hand. But when you go counterclockwise, it'll start by going underneath your hand and then come up in front of your hand. So it'll be backwards. So be aware of that when you start doing that. So let me unwind here. And we'll recap on some of the things that we've learned. So we learned today the around the head with the follow through, both directions, here. And we've learned the loop. And the loop is something great that you can kind of kick your performance into gear with, because you can start off with some of this, and that looks kind of cool. And then you throw the loop in and people are like, oh my god, that's so cool. So it's really a useful technique. So that is intermediate levy stick moves. Enjoy!